and also you can hear so clearly. You can hear the audience going, "You suck!
Oh no!
You suck! What the?" It is so clear.
I think as we went off stage, didn't you say, let's keep in touch?
Yeah, let's keep in touch.
Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of 30 Minute Call, proudly presented by the Canberra Theatre Centre. My name is Joe Gleeson, and today we will be joined by David Collins and Shane Dundas, but you may actually know them better as, of course, yes, the Umbilical Brothers. These guys have had an amazing career thus far, and these two share a whole bunch of stuff with us in this podcast. They tell us about hanging out with Robin Williams, the silver linings of a pandemic, their new show, Getting Robbed, their highlights, and there's plenty of them. And as you heard a moment ago, a couple of their lowlights too. We did have a little bit of trouble getting Shane on the phone at first, but it was fun and silly and unscripted, and as my conversation continued with the guys, I discovered that seems to be where a lot of the Umbilical Brothers magic comes from, so I decided I'm just going to leave it in. I left a lot in actually, so there is a language warning on this episode. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did, and let's get into it. The Umbilical Brothers, this is your 30-minute call.
Hola.
Hello, David. It's Joe here from the Canberra Theatre Centre. How are you?
Hello, Joe. Good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, yeah, very well. Very well.
So what's going on? Did I win? What did I win?
Congratulations. You've won tickets to all our shows that are happening in the next 4 weeks.
Can I bring friends?
Mate, you can bring everyone you know. Like
And
unlimited tickets.
Can I sit next to them?
Kind of.
I've just had a conversation with our manager, and he's going, "Look, I'm just going to try and get all of our shows, but I'm just going to book theatres."
Yeah.
And I've got this idea. I'm going to suggest to the theatres that people, if they say people can't sit near each other, you can only buy in groups of 10 or more. So just families or people that you've been around you can sit together in just clusters. What a great idea is that?
It's fantastic. Yeah, groups of 20 or more only. And
you have to be family, so only large families can apply.
Bring Nonna, bring Grandpa, all the way down to the grandkids.
Well, luckily, our shows do cross generations. I once put through a boxing glove off stage and into the audience in Adelaide, and I stopped the show because it landed on this elderly person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't meant to happen, and I stopped the show, and then and it was in cabaret mode, and I said, "What's going on here?" And it was 4 generations of the one family to see the show, and they were all and the beautiful thing was they were all laughing at the same jokes.
That's fantastic.
I thought that was very early on in our career. And
wow,
that's a really good thing to have. I like that.
Oh, that's awesome, isn't it? Now, David, before we go any further, I did try and give Shane a buzz before, so I might have to give him another try in a sec, actually, if that's all right.
Okay. Let's go, mate.
Do your own
I'm giving you some,
some dialing music.
This is a good time. I'm just editing our bio. I have to get our bio down to 100 words, and it's so difficult. We've got so much shit in there.
Yeah, well, 30-odd years of...
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. We're pitching for a TV series for some money, and they want a bio, and I'm like, God damn it.
What does an umbilical brother put in a bio after 30-odd years of performing?
Well, that's the thing. I was whittling it down. I was getting rid of, performing with NSYNC and all the things that people that are sort of too old. Although I did leave in working, performing after James Brown in Woodstock '99.
That is awesome. I didn't. Oh, hang on. Shane's trying to call me back. Hang on. Here we go. Hang on for 2 seconds. And we are merging the calls, and we have hopefully both of you. Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
I'm here.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Sorry to bug you, Shane. I hope we haven't dragged you away from something really important.
It is before 3, so who knows what Shane was doing. Are you awake, Shane?
Yeah, I was outside. Outside.
You're in
the
Canberra.
sunshine.
You're in Canberra at the moment. It is nice at the moment, isn't it? I mean, it's crisp, but it's nice. It's sunny.
It's not. This is my favourite time of the year. The autumn in Canberra.
Yeah.
Is sweet.
Magnificent. We've and for the second year in a row now, Sydney's getting some of that. We must have had a cold snap because we're getting those beautiful Canberra colours in the in our liquid ambers, which don't happen every year. Every year,
nice.
they just kind of just go, okay, winter's coming if I must, you know.
Shane, David and I were just talking about him having to redo your bio and, you know, the stuff, what gets left in, what gets left out after almost 30 years. And what was the one you were just talking about? Was it James Brown?
I thought I'd get rid of NSYNC, but I thought I might leave in, I was thinking get rid of some of the older references, but I might leave in performing after James Brown at Woodstock 99, because it sounds so bizarre. Like, what the hell are we doing at Woodstock? What are we doing going on after James Brown? And it was entirely bizarre.
Yeah. James Brown will always sound cool, whereas NSYNC...
Did you get to meet the great man, James Brown, when you were, performing after him?
No, he did walk past. I kind of smelt his sweat as he walked past us as he left the stage.
Well, that's something.
We pretty much walked straight on stage as he walked off stage with his band, as he was covered with his they cover him with what is that, like a cape sort of thing?
Sequined, or is it? I don't know what. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. A sweat resistant sequin.
It took him 2/3 of the song to get on stage, because each sort of layer of the band, like the backup singers, would come on, and then the next layer would come on, and there'd be it would be building. And now the hardest working man in show business, my ass, he took 2/3 of the song to come on stage.
His band was on for about 15 minutes. He came on for about 3 and then left 2 minutes before the end. He did, but those 3 minutes he did were so average. No, it was all right. It was great.
No, it was great. I mean, he's earned it. He earned it. I don't think we earned the right to be on at Woodstock.
We killed that. We killed on the Easter. That after that was a good support. As far as support acts go, that was a pretty good one.
It was bizarre. We came off stage and didn't see James Brown, but this guy walked past with a fish on a leash. One of those fake invisible dog leashes.
Yeah.
You ever seen those?
Yeah.
There was a fish on that, and he walked past and he went, cool. As in, we were cool. And apparently it was Wavy Gravy, who was a veteran of the original Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Got the tick of approval.
But so was James Brown, wasn't he? And didn't the producer say that he did exactly the same routine and exactly the same moves in exactly the same order and exactly the same? Even the sweat droplets were in exactly the same spot.
And that's attention to detail. Yeah.
Well, he had a formula. He didn't want to mess with it. So essentially, James Brown was a support act for you guys.
Man.
Is what I'm hearing. Is there much crossover between a James Brown audience and an Umbilical Brothers audience?
Well, I think there's a crossover between any audience and our audience.
Yes.
Because everyone's essentially a child inside, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even James Brown.
So NSYNC, I know that's might not make the cut this time around, but that's still pretty cool to me, because I was, I guess, coming through my teenage years when they were big. So they're kind of like, oh wow, NSYNC's kind of a big name. How did that?
That was also quite a bizarre experience for us, because it was a corporate gig in America, because we'd done David Letterman and Jay Leno, and And so we started to get the corporate gigs in America, and this company, Chrysler asked us to go to Disney World for how long was it, Shane? Like a week or so. I can't remember how long. We were trapped in Disney World, and we did, and we were, and NSYNC were, and in the stadium inside Disney World, we would do half an hour, and then NSYNC would come on and do half an hour. We were the support act for NSYNC, and the NSYNCerators, as Shane and I were calling them. And
it was like about 5,000 Chrysler dealers from across America, wasn't it?
And their family, and their family,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very bizarre.
Chrysler.
And one day Shane and I tried to drive out of Disney World, and we got in because they gave us a Chrysler car, and we drove for about, I don't know how many hours we drove for, but we couldn't get out of Disney World. Just couldn't get out.
And the other one that I'm wondering is if it's going to make it onto the new and improved bio is Robin Williams still making the cut?
Oh, yeah. Geez, what is like perform with us and you die? What's going on with these people?
I mean, what an absolute legend to have on your books. I'm interested to know whether you got to actually converse with the legend that is.
He was great because he was the reason we got on Jay Leno, because he came and saw our very first show in LA, and went to, and he and Eric Idle took us to dinner afterwards, and then afterwards he went, hey, must get you on to, I must tell Jay about you. Oh, I can't do his voice. Can you do his voice, Shannon?
Yeah, you guys would be great on the Tonight Show. I'll talk
what,
to Jay.
Really? Really? What Jay? Jay who?
Jay Bird. Then he'd go off on a tangent. No, actually, it's funny because, you expect him to go off on a tangent, but when he was just being real, he was just really quiet, very gentle,
thoughtful, lovely
guy.
Yeah, wow.
And so then when he came and did his stadium tour of Australasia, Australia or New Zealand, he asked us to support him. So that was the same thing, do half an hour before he came on and did. Actually, he did much longer than NSYNC. He worked much harder. And he'd had open heart surgery, hadn't he? He'd come on and did bloody 90 minutes. What a legend.
Wow.
That was I think 2010. Yeah, it was really awesome. And in fact, we were supposed to do, I think, 20 minutes as the prescribed amount for the, Regulation Support Act for a foreign act. And we went, okay, we'll stick to 20 minutes. And he said, no, just do us whatever. It wasn't precious at all. And
cool.
One of the greatest pleasures of our lives is we were doing our stuff on stage and hearing him laughing at our stuff from off
side of stage. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah,
that
cool.
Distinctive laugh was great. Oh.
That is very cool.
There we go. Yeah. It sounds much better in impersonation. Mine sounded like a Cookie Monster. Jesus.
I did have a giggle at some of your social pages. I was checking them out, and of course the very empty shelves being, in the supermarket being the mime's dream. Was fantastic. How are you guys coping in amongst? I mean, obviously there's cancelled shows. There's your personal lives, of course, as well. But how are you guys going in amongst all of the madness?
I'm actually loving it, partly because it is so sweet being in Canberra this time of year.
Yeah,
we were going to be premiering our brand new show. We're going to premiere it in Melbourne, tour it around. It was this big thing, and it just suddenly disappeared. But that meant I could be home in amongst the colours, the beautiful weather, and just chilling. So
good on you.
So far, I'm not insane.
Seeing that silver lining, that's great. Yeah. What about yourself, David?
I'm actually really, really loving it. I mean, it's actually weirder for my family because I've got two children, two kind of adultish children, 20 and 17. One's finishing HSC, one's finishing uni.
Yeah, wow.
But they're at home at the moment, working from home, and my partner is working from home. But when I'm in Sydney, I'm in the same spot. I'm sitting in the lounge room, looking out to the greenery on my computer, writing, just creating as much as I can.
Oh, great.
So it's business as apart from our show being cancelled, which is a very, very large bummer because the new show was absolutely kick ass and very, very different from everything else we've done. And I was very much looking forward to performing it.
Yeah.
So apart from that, which is a big kick in the nuts, this is business as usual for me, but for my family, not so much. This is quite bizarre, their home.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, I'm also really, really, really loving it.
Oh, it's nice that you're definitely seeing the bright side of it and taking a bit of quiet time to enjoy, I guess, nature and just create some stuff is really cool. Tell us a little bit about this new show, because I'm thinking we had you here last in Canberra at the Canberra Theatre Centre when you're at the Courtyard Studio, which is a great place, it seems, for comedians of Australia to test out new stuff. Is this is this where the new show was developed at Canberra Theatre Centre?
Yes, it was, and it is. You're right. It's a fantastic space. It's just big enough to get that critical mass of audience, and it's enclosed, which is fantastic for comedy. This courtyard.
I didn't even know that existed. That place. It's just so lovely. That place.
Oh, great!
I've seen a few developmental shows. Akmal and various people. But that was an earlier version of this show.
Right.
So it was so useful having that, and for me,
and in fact,
I didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, and the text there. What was her name? She was lovely. Emma, what was her name? She helped us out enormously with the construction of the show, the soundtracks and everything of the show.
Oh, wow!
She was. The texts there were magnificent and so giving in their time and their creative energy to this show that was obviously being very, very new and off the top of our domes most nights.
Yeah. And it's good the difference is appreciable. That when you know that the people working there care about the stuff that you're doing, that makes a difference. Because, you can go to some venues, some big cool venues, and they're doing their job, which is fine, but they don't have to care. They're not being paid to care, and they don't necessarily care, but it's just a difference that happens,
And this is even after... Yeah, and this is even after me running into the technical manager of the theatre's car on the way arriving to the theatre.
Really?
Oh yeah. No, I was in a large sort of white Tarago, and I had Doug, who's on stage with us. He's a visual effects wizard,
right?
We call him, and he's on stage with us doing live visual effects. And he was in the passenger seat, and I came and I went into the parking spaces for the technical crew out the back of the theatre. There, I came in. Oh, and also the roller door was up, and there was about 7 technicians having their break and having a smoke and a drink, watching what I was doing. And I came around and I swung around, and I'm pretty bloody good with parking. And I swung around and I went, oh, I don't think I'm going to make that. And Doug went, no, you're fine. And I went, okay. And I continued, and this white car hit this black, souped up Mazda, like X, whatever, blah.
Right.
And then I went, yeah, no, I don't think so. And it was the technical manager. It was that, and he was so cool about it. He was going, no, don't worry about it. But that was our entrance. That was hello,
welcome.
Hello. Thanks very much for having us.
Now, please help us with this show.
Yeah. So even after that, that's how nice they all were.
So good to hear.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because it's The Distraction, am I right? Is the new show?
It is called The Distraction because we want people to be distracted from the live show that's happening in front of them. As they are in life these days, people are distracted by their screens. We want to bring them to see live theatre to be distracted by the large screen that's above the live theatre performers that are doing all the work in front of them, but you won't be watching them because you'll be distracted by the big, shiny, magical version of them, which is much larger and look, there's effects up there, and there's backdrops and scenery and everything. If you look down there, they're just in front of green screens.
But is that
stupid, boring green screen?
But is that also part of where the giggles come from? How ridiculous you guys look performing this stuff in front of the green screen? And
I hope so.
right, brilliant.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you're going to pretend to be in space, you're going to have to get into some weird positions in real life to be matched with the space.
It must be very painful, actually, to do every night. Is it, Shanu? Get into those.
Oh, man,
I bet you were sore for weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, look, you're getting you on one leg sometimes. You're doing almost going into a kung fu horse stance just to get into the right spot in the frame on screen. It's really cool.
That was a working title for the show, actually, Joe, which was the Umbilical Brothers thigh and calf workout. Most of the time we're squatting to sort of get into, in front of the camera. We're doing really weird positions.
Right. How fit do you guys have to be in general to do your performances? Do you guys have to go, okay, got the tour coming up, I better go out and get some jogs in, or is it sort of, I'll be fine?
Did you say jogs? Jesus. I don't know when the last time I ran anywhere was. I'm not sure if I can run anymore.
I like that expression, though. I'm going to get some jogs in this afternoon. I like that expression.
You can tell that I'm obviously someone who gets a lot of jogs in.
You're right. You look like you've had too many jogs, mate. You've got to ease up on the jogs. What do you have? 3 or 4 jogs? No, mate.
Get some jogs in here.
2 jogs max.
To be honest, I don't get any jogs in. I'm not I'm kind of the only exercise I do these days.
Got a couple of strolls, mate, didn't you? You got some strolls. I walk up Black Mountain. Half a stroll.
Oh, Black Mountain. That's a good stroll for those who aren't familiar with Canberra. That's a good stroll.
Yeah, that's a good one. It keeps you, and it does, get you out of the house, because you do need to get out of the house. So perfect balance. Canberra's got the perfect balance there. So me, not heaps of exercise. I used to do a lot, do martial arts and stuff, but just doing the shows is exercise.
Yeah, wow. There you go. Tell us about how the green screen stuff came about. Was that, you just went, hey, here's a crazy idea, and it just went from there, or is it something that just developed over time?
Well, like most of our shows, we're just trying to do something we like people to come and see a theatre and see something different than what they've seen us do before, but also just something different. Just come to see theatre and see things that you're not going to see. Like, you actually can't. We can't put this show out, not that there is DVDs anymore, but we can't film this show and actually show it on a screen, because it would look absolutely bizarre, because you'd be looking at the screen and then you'd be looking at a screen within a screen and then us on the stage. It'd just be insane, because that's, as you've pointed out, it's half the fun is watching these stupid idiots down there. What are they? Why is he coming into the side like that? And you look up the screen. Oh, I see, he's in space. Oh, he's underwater. Right, he's being chased by a shark. I see. Oh, no, it's not a shark. Oh, it's a giant baby. Okay, he's being chased by a giant baby underwater. Right, you're not going to see that anywhere else but on stage with an Umbilical Brothers show.
I love it.
We've always thought in kind of movie terms. We've visualised, even when we've been miming stuff, it's kind of like it's been a little movie in our heads.
Definitely a frame,
Yeah, that's the frame. What's in the frame? And this is almost what you get to see what we've imagined, whereas usually you've got to imagine it yourself. This time you don't even have to do the work. Is that a bad thing? I don't know.
You can actually come to this show and not bring your imagination. with all of our other 6 shows, you imagine if the show wouldn't be constructed, it wouldn't be possible without the audience's imagination, without them using their imagination and us using our imagination, and joint together we've created the show. This time, stuff that. Just come. Just going.
You switch your brain off. We'll do the work for you.
Switching. Yes. Yeah.
Let's go back to earlier in this year when disaster struck the Umbilical Brothers camp. We're talking Newcastle, and if that wasn't enough, you got robbed in Newcastle.
Oh wow! Yeah, you are talking. That is I've just been talking about that to our manager. We have not been paid by the insurance yet.
Oh.
So he's our manager is saying that this show is like about $50,000 in the red at the moment.
Because there's some serious.
And we haven't sold a ticket. We haven't,
Oh.
It's not a good business model.
It's so funny. It's so funny because it's true.
Bizarre. We were doing the show, the final developmental version of the show before premiering it, and as usual, we left our stuff on the stage. Everything was securely locked up, and the next day we came in, and a lot of stuff was missing. Someone somehow broke in, ninjas, I guess, and nicked heaps of stuff. So we had to sort of tinker something together for the rest of the week, but couldn't believe it. We still don't know who, what, how.
They had CCTV footage everywhere that was apparently looked at, and they couldn't find anything. They had alarms on all over the place. No alarms went off.
What?
And yet somebody had enough time. Now, if you go on our TikTok, on our Instagram or TikTok, we have videos of they left. Like in our show, there's baby blocks with letters on it.
Yep.
They had enough time to write not just words but sentences for us, and laid out sentences.
Yeah. These were some cunning criminals. Like there was time to leave like a calling card almost.
I made a quick change outfits that they took. They took Shane wears a wig at the beginning of the show. They took that.
What?
They took. I've realised just recently because I wanted this big, really great looking fluffy dog. The dog that was in the space thing, Shanu? They took that. I can't find that. I can't find that.
Oh.
I don't know where that is.
The dog.
So they took that. They took our dog. They took our green screen suit. They took a full body green screen suit. They took somewhere. I was just saying to Artie, it's insane. Like somewhere in Newcastle, there's a road case with Umbilical Brothers written, like spray painted. It's so obvious that it's our road case, and it's got little.
And it's going to be. You'd think it's going to be quite distinctive, someone walking down the street wheeling an Umbilical Brothers road case with a full green screen suit and a wig on. I mean, surely.
Yeah.
The police artist's impression would be interesting,
So anyway, but, I mean, we're going to have to fix the contracts from now on because apparently it's our responsibility. Everything left at the theatre is our responsibility. So,
really?
So we're going to have to fix that part of the contract from now on, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that must be devastating. I mean, and there's some serious gear involved in this show, like the cameras and all that.
I think, Joe, I think what happened is that some youngsters came and saw the show and then went, there's a lot of really great stuff. I bet they don't take this back to their apartments after the show. I might just stick around. I think I'll just hide underneath this seat and just wait. I reckon.
Well, there's some building blocks here. I might just leave a little note for them as well. They're comedians. They'll find this hilarious.
Yes, I do.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about how long you guys have been doing this at the start of our chat, almost 30 years, I believe. When you look back and think about the start of your careers to now, is there anything that you go, geez, that was better back in the day? Or is there, more things that you're sort of going, oh, this is much cooler now? I mean, I guess there's obviously the technology now that you guys have access to and all that sort of stuff. But is there anything sort of back in the day that you go, that was better when we first started?
That was better back then. Huh. Everything felt new back then. So that's a big thing. Because as we go along, you just can't believe this is happening, that we're getting away with this. We can do this for a living, and it actually evolved into something quite complex. But at the beginning, it really started as a joke. But there's stuff that I look back at, and we've got the Upside Down show, the TV series made for kids with Sesame Workshop.
That couldn't be better.
Really? Yeah.
I kind of like at the time when we were doing sort of footy show gigs, and we would go and perform at RSLs, and I think I kind of miss that sort of. And I remember at the time going, "Oh, this is a bit, it got a bit much." Like we were performing at St Mary's once, and they were just yelling out for us to do stuff that we'd done on the footy show. And Shane and I honestly don't know anything. Like we're performers, we know it. Like we're comedians, we don't know anything about sport. We used to go in, and the producers of the footy show just used to say, "This is who we want you to put shit on this week," and then we would create a routine about those. We didn't know who we were bloody making fun of.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had no freaking idea. And we used to go and perform, and those shows used to be so raucous and loud and looking back, like they were, and I think I do kind of miss that a bit. Or even though it did get a bit much at what, like I just remember, I think it was St Mary's where we kind of went, nah, this is a bit shit. They're yelling out stuff that we do. So-and-so from what you did on the footy show, and we couldn't even remember it because we invented it that morning, performed it that night, and then went, okay, we're never going to have to do that again. Who is that footy player that you're yelling out for us to do? I have no idea.
Yeah, right. Do you ever look back at any of the old footage of yourselves? And, obviously, I guess maybe those footy show ones would be a good example, but of your old skits, and watch them as if this is the first time you've watched them because you'd not remembered this little gag or this skit and gone, oh, that's pretty funny. That was clever.
Oh man, right, like absolutely,
yeah.
And especially like we started on a show called Star Search, and we would invent our routine that was going, and there was only 4 stations there, and so most of Australia were watching most of the television that we were doing, but we would invent our routines the morning of or the night before filming. And then just do them for the first time in front of a camera and an audience of people watching at home.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even try them out in front of an audience at a live venue. We would just do it. But we've just been putting together a pitch for trying to get some development money for a TV sort of thing. And we're looking at stuff that we wrote. How long ago now, Shana? Honestly, I'm looking at these. It's like a script, and I don't remember.
Yeah, wow.
I don't remember reading it once, and it's just completely gone. I'm thinking, geez, that's pretty good. That looks good.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Really good. That's funny. That's really funny.
I was getting at. Yeah. With the Upside Down show, I think that was what I was trying to say. I recently watched some of that again, having not seen it for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's a cool little gag. That's a little detail that's lovely. There's extra work that's gone into it that I've completely forgotten, and just beautiful little comedic twists and turns.
And that's because that's because we were coming up with it like a minute before we did it.
What is the difference between making funny stuff for kids and funny stuff for grown-ups?
There's no difference.
No?
It's no. Just make good shit. Like, just make it good. Like, kids don't want to... If there's one thing I know about kids, they don't want to be thought of as kids. You know, they're just people. They just want to laugh like everyone else. So they're going to laugh at the same... That, like, no wonder that show was loved the way it was, because it had those layers of comedy where we didn't treat the kids like kids. We were making the show just for people. Awesome.
And we could, there stuff in that show that only the parents will get, but it's still, it still can go into a show that can be watched by a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is a certain delicate balance you have to find with that. Content obviously on a basic level. Content bloody through.
I was thinking, we really must go through those rushes. We have, Joe, they go, at the end of each day, they would give us a DVD of the day before's everything that was filmed, basically, right. The rushes.
Okay.
So stuff and there was so much stuff that we would do stuff and they go, cut, no, it's a kid's show, you actually can't do that. So there's a lot of that stuff that I would love to now throw out on Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, come on, just let us do one decapitation.
Come on. But what about the Disney books that you guys are doing at the moment? Are you reliving that with the Disney books as well? Is there?
Funnily enough, the Disney, there was a lot of stuff we weren't allowed to get away with the Disney stuff, but they did let us get away with a fair bit.
Yeah, right. Because I would have thought working with Disney, it would have been like, pretty full on.
Us too. Yeah, us too. But and it kind of was. There was a lot of stuff we weren't allowed to do, and we would do a rough version of the way we'd like the episode to go, and we always much preferred the rough version. But we would, and they would really pull us back on on the rough version that we would show them. But the plan was to show them an extreme version, so that then, even with them pulling it back, it would still be pretty out there. Do you know what I mean?
I think also doing it in Australia for the Oz Disney guys, was possibly a little easier than if we'd done it in the US, where they might have been even more protective of their Disney children. Yeah.
So you guys, obviously, stage shows tick, TV show tick, like basically web series tick. You've got the kids book that you've done.
That's now in Russia and Romania and Russia, Romania and Germany. Yeah.
The book is, did you say?
Mate, it's sold 5,500 in Romania or some some bizarre reason.
That's amazing. Kids are in Romania right into monsters in their house.
They must be.
That's their thing. So, next, are we going to see an Umbilical Brothers produced feature film? What's next?
Yeah, why not?
What's left to do?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
We've always dreamed of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of big leagues. Some of the ideas we have maybe going to cost a bit of money, so we've got to figure that out. But at the moment, we're looking at a TV series idea that was a film idea, and we'll just see. But it's always going to have a particular sense of humour that we have, which is kind of parodying the thing that you're doing. That's kind of what we do. It's like I think it's like a stand-up. You know how a stand-up looks at life? They're kind of sort of making fun of life, the way they look at life. That's how we look at performance, slapstick, whatever. It's kind of stand-up's attitude to slapstick, as it were. Kind of you're kind of making fun of the thing that you're doing. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, cool.
Or if you know anyone with a couple of million, we have a script written for the Upside Down movie.
Oh, awesome!
Script is all ready to go, but we just can't find the couple of million that we need.
God, if it wasn't for those punks in Newcastle.
Once they sell those quick change outfits, they're going to be flush with cash. So.
Yeah, cash converters. Got some pretty cool stuff. I want to know about sort of the inner workings of you guys and how after 30 years you can be this successful and keep on creating and keep on having that drive. How do your personalities complement each other off stage? Is one sort of this, the driving force and one's the crazy, airy, creative one, or, does that role swap and change between the two of you? Or is there an external person that's, pushing you guys to keep on going and keep on creating? And
I think David is really much more driven than me. I'm sweet, I've never had that sort of drive, and
it'd be wonderful to have that external I think our manager is that external person, but he knows nothing's going to get done unless we've never created a show unless we've had a deadline. Like the very first show, I got some friends to produce it and just told Shane that we were just doing a show, and so we just had to create a show.
Yeah.
And even this TV pitch, we were just called and said, it's happening. You need to get information to us by Monday morning. So it's just a deadline. You give us a deadline and stuff will get done.
That's your driver.
If we do not have if we don't have a deadline, then nothing gets done. Yeah. Nothing gets done.
We're good at dreaming. That's where it all comes from. Just, these weird, your mind can go to all kinds of places when it's not a real thing. the next step is making it a real thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And do you guys have sort of, your regular sort of, okay, this is our work time, we got to catch up once a week or once a fortnight to go over some ideas and that sort of stuff? Is it sort of strict with you guys?
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Joe, you got all the. That's such a good idea.
Oh, groundbreaking stuff.
No, that's it. To our managers, chagrin. Well, we do not have that. We do not have that call once a week.
It's so funny. Yeah, look, we've been to 40 countries, performed all over the world.
Yeah.
And you get some really serious theatre students and, clowning students.
Yeah.
So you guys are great clowns. And we go, we're clowns? What? Sorry? But I guess we are.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say? Come here. Clown.
The C word. Yeah,
Let me grab your nose. Oh, damn it.
But they have these really kind of serious traditions around back there, and they go, oh, you've done your mimes. Amazing. What's good? Have you gone through Le Coq or, and we go, no.
What did you say to me?
In acting school. And, we what's your process? Process? What?
Just come up with stuff.
We don't have a process.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So there's a big percentage of you guys that is, just this pure talent and ideas and creativity has just, had you forging ahead over, 30 years. It's amazing that, I don't know whether you guys get the chance to stop and go, well, that's pretty cool what we've managed to do.
No, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh, I love you, Shane. You fucking clown. Where'd you study? Where did you study? You look like a cock.
Well, what's funny is that we actually have studied. We went to acting school. Yeah. So there's
I mean, I really do feel like that's what we like. Actor is what I put on my incoming passenger card. That's what I feel like whatever I'm doing on stage, we're acting we're acting the part. We're acting in whatever show we're doing or whatever thing we're doing. If we're just making a little TikTok video, it's acting is what it is.
Yeah, TikTok's a bit of fun, isn't it?
TikTok to my kids' chagrin, they hate that. But what happened, Joe, is that we had all these fans from the Upside Down show.
Yes.
Who were kids who, because we were fucking idiots and didn't put Umbilical Brothers on the credits of the Upside Down show. There are all these kids now that have no idea, that love the Upside Down. They're the Upside Down show disciples, but they have no idea who the Umbilical Brothers are.
Right.
And so I started a TikTok. I asked our manager what I should do, and he went, "Mate, TikTok." And I went, "What's that?"
Yes.
And then I came home and asked my kids, and they said, "Don't you dare start a TikTok." And I said, "You want to see me?" So I started a TikTok. Shane came up with the idea. I started a TikTok. We were performing at a theatre that night, and Shane went, "Oh, there's this backdrop. Let's just film something here before we go on stage." I went, "Okay," and we filmed something. Yep. We went on stage. We were on stage for a couple of hours. We came off. I looked at TikTok, and I went, "What? Oh no! Somebody give me my glasses. This looks like this couldn't be right. It says 300,000 views."
Whoa! Whoa!
And now that video has like 800 and something thousand views, nearly 900,000 views.
Yeah. Under the name of the Upside Down Show.
You can put two things on. Now I've put the Upside Down Show, and then it says Umbilical Brothers 2 when you click on the link. When you go to our page.
Yep.
So and all of the comments were, "Hey, it's the Upside Down Show, boy! Upside Down Show, Upside Down Show!" And then just sneakily now putting in things for the distraction, putting in, "Hey, we're doing live shows. Come and see our live shows."
Yeah.
Yeah, those kids are now 20s, I guess.
They're the perfect age for a show. They're perfect.
What a genius plan to get ticket sales 10 years later.
It's subtle though. You have to because they're canny. They know Like Celeste Barber, who Celeste Barber, the Instagram
Yes.
queen.
Yes.
She was doing fantastic, but the first time she kind of did something that kind of, she said, "Oh, go, buy my book," or whatever.
Yep.
That was the first time that she lost followers.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you have to be really canny about how you mention that how you advertise yourself and promote
Yes.
yourself on those platforms. It still has to be entertaining and a bit. It still has to be a bit.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for you, David. I have not got a clue about socials.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Now I'm just trying to, now I'm just against my kids now. Like that, if they're saying I can't do, and my son has now started TikTok to verse us.
Oh,
and
awesome.
He's doing better than he's got like 1 million likes on his.
What?
He does a video, and he's very regimented. He's much more he's much more professional than Shane and I in his production.
What's his content?
It's just him. He just talks into the camera for once a night. He releases a video night. Sometimes they don't stay for longer than 24 hours. But anyway,
wow.
at that guy Rowe, if you want to check him out,
Okay.
that guy Rowe, RO, on TikTok. That's my boy.
That's
You'll notice the hair. You'll notice the hair and the nose.
He got the best parts.
He's got both.
Yeah.
I was sort of having a bit of a scroll, in between having a jog, the other day, and I've just dropped everything. And I saw a little clip of Steve Martin saying, in the early days of his comedic career, he had that person that said to him, "You're never going to make it. You're not funny. Give up now." And he took that as, great, tick that off. Every successful person that's got that feedback has always made it on to be something amazing. Did you guys ever have a moment of someone going, "Guys, this is just not going to work. Like, this is just, please stop"? And
never. No. It's always worked. It's just. I can tell you, there was one midday show which was just hideous because the audience didn't laugh at all. They were just completely silent. It was Ray Martin was presenting, and that was really, really difficult. But then I looked back at the thing and I went, no, I saw what we did, and that was funny. It was just the audience were 80 or above, or probably dead. They were probably already dead and just propped up in their seats, I imagine. And that's probably why they weren't making any noise.
There is that element of what the hell am I looking at? Like, you can understand that. We were new.
There was that. There's a footy show, a midday show, a footy show, and the West Stage at Woodstock. We performed on disaster. We performed on the East Stage in front of 100,000 people after James Brown, and killed with a routine that we just invented 15 minutes before in the trailer. And then we went to the West Stage, and it was only a few thousand people, and it was it was a heavy band that was on before us, and they were sort of and we went, this is a bit scarier actually. Maybe we should just do a tried and true routine that we know everybody loves. And we went on and just died in the arse. And because we went so well on the East Stage, they decided to televise the West Stage. So no one in America saw us kill after James Brown in front of 100,000 people, but everyone in America saw us die. And also you can hear so clearly, you can hear the audience going, "You suck!
Oh no!
You suck! What the fuck is this shit?" It is so clear.
I think as we went off stage, didn't you say, "Let's keep in touch"?
Yeah, let's keep in touch. I think there was one person that went, "Piss off."
No.
So just like on one hand, I could count in 30 years the gigs that didn't work.
Wow,
and that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah. Hang on, sorry, and one corporate event with bankers.
Oh, okay. Well, bankers.
That was really bankers. Yeah.
Oh, and then there was that one We're really coming up with a full list of failures now, aren't we?
I'm on my pinky now. So what do you got?
The dentist in America.
The dentist. Oh my God! No. God, what was that?
We did this corporate gig in front
that was hideous.
of like a 5,000 dentists.
There was 5,000 people in the room, and basically what was happening is when you have that amount of people in the room, people are just looking at the screens, and we learnt this from the stadiums with Robin Williams. People,
Right.
even the front row, if you're in the stadium, you're looking at the screen.
Right.
But no one had told the people who were filming. Had no idea what they were doing, and they were doing close-ups of Shane doing sound effects. They were doing close-ups of me doing all these physical things, and no one could follow anything, and we died. And we were paid for that gig, I think, and we were flown to, where was it, Shane? It was Florida.
Was it Palm Springs?
Palm
or
Springs,
somewhere
yeah.
Yeah.
We were flown there. We were put up very nicely, and that was horrible. Yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's a good one.
Well, no more than 5, so that's still good.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
And there was that bar mitzvah. The bar mitzvah.
Oh, God, yeah, New York.
guys, thank you so much for having. I've got one more question for you before you've been very generous with your time, and I'll let you get back to enjoying the nature around your respective houses. If 30 odd years ago, you decided, hey, I don't think this is going to work and we don't want to do this. Fast forward to now, what would you guys be doing if you weren't an umbilical brother?
I'd be acting.
Yes.
I'd be an actor. I'd be an actor or I would have definitely been doing musical theatre for a time. I would have been doing musicals.
Yeah.
But I think by now, 30 years, I would have been sick to death of doing musicals, and I would just be an actor, I would say.
Yeah, right.
And I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah.
I probably would be an international super spy. All dreams.
Yes.
No, actually, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a film director.
Okay.
And I think we kind of are directing our own little movies in a way. But,
Yeah.
That was, I don't know, I loved cinema and movies and how images looked and all that stuff. And it's kind of fed into this. So maybe that's what I would have been doing.
There's still time for that.
Well, we just got to find that couple of $1 million, and then you're away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Guys, thank you so much for having a chat to me. I've had a lot of fun, and my cheeks are a bit sore,
Joe.
so I think it's time to stop now, and I can go and relax.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for talking to us. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Go and have a jog.
I'm off to, but I might take 2 jogs.
Yeah, take a jog.
Yeah.
Take a jog.
Thanks so much, guys. We look forward to getting you back to the Canberra Theatre Centre soon, and we want to check out the distraction and all of the other wonderful things that you guys come up with while you're self-isolating and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you. Can't wait to get back.
Talk soon, guys.
See you, mate.
Thank you.
See ya.
Ciao.
Bye.